there. Top of the morning to you. I want to say welcome back. I know I kind of cut you off before, but we're back. And now there's some things that I want to talk to you about. St. Patrick's Day this month, a great meal that people have together. Another example of a meal, right? Well, there was a time, God, hat head. There was a time when Jesus was walking the earth and he was living his ministry of teaching how to love one another truly. And he was preaching up to the crowds. And it got very late in the day. And his apostles said to him, "We have to send everyone home because we can't afford to feed them. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough food." And Jesus said, "Bring whatever you have to me." And maybe you've heard that story, the fishes and the loaves. Jesus feeds the crowd. I have another fun activity for you to do up on our website, all about Jesus feeding the crowd. Now, why do I bring this up to you? Very interesting. I wanted to talk to you about the special things that Jesus did. Now, I know you're probably familiar with magic, and I'm sure that you've seen a magician in your life, maybe on TV, maybe at a birthday party, maybe at another special celebration. But the things that Jesus did were not magic. And we can't mix them up with magic. Maybe you know the word of what it's called, of the special things that Jesus did. They're miracles. Miracles are not magic. Miracles are acts that Jesus performed that clearly were not magic. Jesus fed a crowd of people. And there was so much food left over that they filled 12 baskets after everyone ate and was full. That's a miracle. Maybe you know the story of Jesus turning water into wine, the wedding of Cana. Maybe you've heard stories of Jesus bringing someone back from the dead, like Lazarus. Maybe you've heard stories about Jesus healing someone who can't hear, or someone who can't speak, or someone who can't walk. People had faith and they followed Jesus, and Jesus performed miracles. And one of his greatest miracles was his sacrifice. When he died on Good Friday and he returned in 3 days, what day do we call that? Do you know? Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday. Jesus rose from the dead. His greatest miracle ever. Jesus passed right through death and rose again. And when he rose from the dead, they say that he appeared a little different. He looked a little different. Sometimes people didn't recognize him right away. Let me tell you a little story. There were these two friends, and they were walking along on a road, the road to Emmaus. And they were talking about all the things that had happened to Jesus along their way. And while they were walking, suddenly they meet a stranger. And this stranger says to them, "Hey guys, what are you talking about? What's going on?" And they said, "Haven't you heard all the things that happened to our friend Jesus?" And he said, "You mean the one who died and rose again? The one from Scripture?" "Yes, I have heard about this." And so as they traveled, it started to become nighttime. Now, if you can look at their roads, which they probably didn't even have a road, it could get very dangerous at night. And so they said to him, "Why don't you come and stay with us? Come, stay with us and have a meal together with us." So they begged this stranger, who they didn't recognize, to come and have a meal with them. And so the stranger, knowing that it could get dangerous in the dark, he said, sure, I'll come and dine with you and stay with you for the night. So they all went and got washed up, and they came back down ready to eat their meal. And when they came down to the table, they see the stranger sitting at the table. And they still don't really recognize him, and they still don't really know who the stranger is. But the stranger did something amazing. He breaks the bread, and suddenly they recognize him. Who is that stranger? Do you know? It was Jesus. And he blesses the bread and he blesses the wine. And suddenly the strangers knew who this person was. It was Jesus. Jesus, after he rose from the dead, performed even more miracles. So we went from the Last Supper, the last meal that Jesus had with his friends. And when he rose again, he came back and he appeared and blessed the bread again. So now, don't you wonder why we have communion? Why do we go around that altar? Why do we all sit there? That altar is our table. Just like you set your table at home, you put dishes and cups and table and silverware. Well, we do that too at the Eucharist, at the altar, during Mass. We remember the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. And he asked us to remember him every time we have this special meal together. And that, boys and girls, is why we have communion. Why we celebrate the Holy Eucharist at every Mass. And you know, Mass isn't just on Sundays. Mass is every day. Sunday is when most people go. But some people go to Mass every day. It's almost like your birthday. You don't get reborn every year, right? But we celebrate your birthday. Every year we sing, happy birthday, right? Because we're remembering you. And we're remembering your birthday. Just like Jesus. He doesn't die again every year. He doesn't rise from the dead again every year. He doesn't have that Last Supper meal again every year. But we are doing what he asked of us. We are remembering him. And we are sharing that meal together. So boys and girls, I look forward to seeing you on your first Holy Communion Day. Stay tuned because there's going to be more on our St. John Nepomucene Family Faith channel.